everybody. It's your host, HugePop from the HugePop Wrestling Podcast. Our guest tonight on the HugePop Wrestling Podcast is the FIP Heavyweight Champion, along with the STF Champion. He is real. He is raw. Welcome to the show, August Atrois. What's going on, my guy?
Dude, first off, I will say, that fucking intro. Well, can I swear? Am I allowed to swear on here?
Go ahead.
I'm not allowed?
No, you can. You can.
Because I was going to say I'm going to anyways, but that intro was fucking heavy, man. I was rocking out. Second off, your intro for me was excellent. So now I see why my father wasted his time with this podcast.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Man.
So, man, growing up, what was it like as a kid growing up in the wrestling, watching wrestling stuff for you?
Well, as I got the attitude on right now in the background, it's what I watched. I watched it all the way up until, and I don't know exactly when, but it's when Kane got Lita pregnant, whenever around that time was. Yeah. I guess like 2003, 4, 5, I don't know. But I started watching again in 2017, so I didn't watch for a very long time. So I think that's kind of like we'll get to where that plays into my career, but we always watched the Attitude Era. You know, my mom would go to the store, like the Sam's Club, like those bulk stores, and she'd get the big amounts of like root beer, and she'd come home the next day and they'd all be empty, and she'd go in the backyard and they'd be all around the trampoline because we'd smash them together and drink them and beat each other up. And it was always, to me as a kid, it was always such a far-fetched dream because like I had my favorites, which is like I could count on one hand, but then the roster, you know what I'm saying, there wasn't many. So I always thought in my head as a kid, like, you have to be someone special to be a professional wrestler. So I completely gave up on that dream. I went into music. I got signed to a record label when I was 16 years old, toured 48 states. Once I got done with that, around the age of 21, I started traveling on my own. I went to, some of those 48 states again. Then I started traveling out to different countries. I went to 8 different countries, and I turned the age of 30, and I asked myself, I was like, I got to do something else that's cool. And I was like, fuck it. I'll go be a professional wrestler. 3 years later, I'm on my second UK tour. I'm sitting here holding one of the most prestigious titles in indie wrestling, independent wrestling itself. I'm unstoppable. On my 12th state, sponsored by companies. I'm in music videos. I'm everywhere, man. And you know who I got to thank for that? Myself.
Absolutely. You put in hard work.
So where did wrestling play into my life? It was the Attitude Era. That Attitude Era kind of gave me an attitude as a child, which led into my life, which I thank God I didn't watch wrestling for that whole time, because I feel that I wouldn't be as awesome as I am because of that.
Awesome, man. Yeah, that makes sense.
I am awesome, yeah.
So what major groups did you tour with when you were playing music?
The bands that we toured with were also like freshly signed bands, but we were all 16. I think our oldest member turned 17 on tour. And then our tour manager was like 32, 33 years old. But the guys that we toured with were anywhere from 28 years old to 42 years old. And, it started off as in like, look at these kids. And then it turned into, fuck, man, these kids are better than us. That's basically been my whole life. I come into a profession and I make people look stupid because how easy I make it look.
There you go. So favorites growing up.
Hold on. I didn't finish my freaking answer, dude.
You paused, sir, and I figured that you paused. It's time for me to talk.
The band that I was in though was Forever in Terror. We were signed to Metal Blade Records. I had to take a milk break. This podcast is sponsored to you by Whole Milk. No 2% pussy shit. Anyways, Year of Desolation, Cerberus. They're like bands from California, West Virginia, and it was cool. It was an experience for sure, man. If you really want to get this podcast going, I'll tell you a fucking crazy story about a woman named Paula Portugal. Never mind, we won't go there. Next question.
So, did you watch any WCW back in the day or no?
Absolutely. Didn't watch WCW.
Okay. Then you wouldn't know this answer to the question. I have a question. It's like a trick question.
Hold on. Our screen is just cut out. You better get your connection together. Second, go ahead and ask the question. Let's see if I can answer it.
I mean, I think it's on your end with your James.
I said, ask the question and see if I can answer it.
All right. Who, in your opinion, is the greatest WCW heavyweight champion to ever live?
I don't know. I didn't watch WCW. Next question.
David Arquette.
Shut up.
No, I'm the host. You're the guest.
Man, I like that. What a good response. Way to lash back.
I asked the questions. You answered. So, can you tell us about wrestling, your wrestling persona? Like, how did you develop your cocky ass character? How did that come about?
I guess it was from watching Nickelodeon, MTV. Yeah, so watching Nickelodeon, MTV as a kid, Attitude Era, and then being on tour across the country, you know, with zero parental supervision at the age of 16. I grew up quickly. I had to have that chip on my shoulder, especially being the little brother. I've always seen it in that sense of like, I got to prove myself. Even if my brother's not watching, I have to prove myself because I'm the little brother. So it's always been that way. And I've been put into situations where, you know, maybe when I retire, I'll write a book and I'll get a little deeper and more personal. But I've been put into situations where I truly had to dig deep and find out who I really was. And again, that's what separates me in professional wrestling, where I'm surrounded in the locker room with guys that, you know, never been in real life situations. They've never been pushed to that point to figure out who the hell they truly are. So whenever they go out there, they don't know who the hell they are. When they're sitting in the locker room, they don't know who the hell they are. That's what separates me from the rest of them. Next question.
Would it be safe to say that you live out your wrestling person in your real life?
I don't know. Like a lot of people say, like my wrestling gimmick, my wrestling character. The only thing like wrestling character about me is like the tights that I wear. If you look at my license, my name's obviously not August Atrois. I'm a Sicilian man, so that doesn't make sense. But if you ask like anybody from my childhood that knew me before I started professional wrestling, that hasn't seen me wrestle, and you explain who August Atrois is, they go, "Oh, that sounds a lot like, you know, me." All I am is just anybody who knows me outside of the ring. All I am is it's me. It's turned up to 11. Stone Cold Steve Austin was him, turned up to 11. Undertaker turned up to 11. The Rock was him, turned up to 11. So I mean, like I said, when I'm in the locker room and I see guys like putting on their face paint and or their masks, and they're getting into this money making gimmick or whatever their thing is, like they have to get into that character. All I have to do is put some black wrist tape around my wrist, put some water in my hair, and walk out of that fucking curtain. I'm August Atrois. It's simple. Well, for me, it's fucking simple.
So you say Undertaker up to 11, Stone Cold up to 11, Undertaker up to 11. How come, if you're better than them, how come yours not up to 12?
I'm not. Who the fuck said I was better than them? They're legends. See, I'm not a dickhead. I'm an asshole. A dickhead would go out of his way to claim false. What would that be called? False identity. I don't claim myself to be better than them.
Okay. All right, good.
But I'm better at being August Atrois than they are.
You are.
Because nobody can do me like me. Nobody can do me like me in another way too.
I'm sure. So are you a fan of lucha wrestling?
I've wrestled two in the last year. Pedro Portillo. We'll call him Pedro Portillo. And Justin Cato. From in One Revolution Wrestling. They're a handful, man. I'll tell you that much. Lucha Libre, lucha wrestlers are a fucking handful. The one guy grabbed my arm and all of a sudden we started running towards the ropes, and I'm like, oh my God, we're gonna run into the ropes. And then he jumps on the ropes and he jumps down from the ropes and he jumps on the ropes and he jumps down from the ropes and he jumps on the ropes. And then next thing you know, I'm flying across the ring, and all it was an arm drag. But boy, let me tell you.
Yeah. Damn. So your training regimen. So what brought you from wherever you were to Orlando to start training, and if that's where you started training?
It wasn't Orlando. It was Newport Richey, Florida. So what happened was my brother came down first, and he went to a WWN seminar, and he became a referee. Next thing you know, he's an extra on NXT, an extra on NXT, an extra on Raw, SmackDown, all these pay-per-views. I'm like, wow. If my brother can do it, I have his same blood. I can too. So that's when I moved down, and all the guys, Matt Riddle, Keith Lee, Austin Theory held this title. Seth Rollins held this title. Dean Ambrose or whoever, what it was, John Moxley held this title. Rich Swann held this title. A lot of big names held this title. Why in the fuck wouldn't I go to where these big names that just got signed? Why wouldn't I go to where they came from? So a lot of guys were like, well, Francisco Chiazzo's the trainer, and let me tell you what, I wouldn't go there. I'm like, well, hold on. Is he a rapist or is he a pedophile? They're like, no, even worse. He's an asshole. And I'm like, oh, well, so am I. So that's awesome. And I didn't want a trainer because I know how it is these days. And I know about all these different sensitivity things that are going on in wrestling. And I never wanted a trainer that was going to pat me on the back for something I didn't deserve. So Frank would be the guy that if you messed something up, he'd throw his fucking hat in the air. He'd walk out of the building and you'd sit there like, should we wait for him to come back? No, let's perfect it. So when he does come back, because he's going to have you run through that. Once he calms down and comes back, he's running you through that drill again. And he's not going to put his hands on you or put a bullet through you. But you were so scared to let him down because he cared so fucking much. Like we would have guest trainers come in and they'd sit in a chair in front of the ring. But there was Frank leaning against the apron every day, no matter what. I had a trainer that truly cared, and that's what separated me. So I only trained for, I think it was like 2 weeks I trained for, and it was like 3 nights. I had my first match. It was 2 months in altogether, but it was like 2 weeks of training. I had my first match, and I never looked back. So when people would tell Frank, they're like, man, you really taught this kid the ropes. He's like, no, I mean, what else could I teach this kid? I taught him an arm drag, a hip toss, and a body slam. He taught me where hard cam and roaming cams are going to be. And then he put his hand on my back and he pushed me in the right direction. And I ran. That's the story he told everybody. And that's the story that's fucking very flattering because, I mean, I'm going to be honest. This shit's not that hard at all. I mean, the hardest thing in this business to do is deal with the other people in this business.
Gotcha. So when I say control your narrative, what does that mean to you?
I actually have a screenshot from EC3 that said, Jesus fucking Christ, you're the only guy that knows how to actually control his narrative. And that's all I'll say about that. It was a good opportunity, but yeah, that's about it.
All right, no problem, man.
No, I mean, it's not a fucking bad thing. It's just, I'm not going to waste my interview on talking about somebody else's fucking thing. I mean, it was cool. It was cool. I got in there, but like some places are meant to build people and some people just already have it and they need just to be there. And basically, if you have seen now, I'm on my 12th state wrestling. I'm on my second UK tour coming up in May. Like I control my fucking own narrative.
Okay, that's no problem. Can you talk about your experience?
Stop trying to calm me down, cat daddy.
That's right. Well, can you talk about your experience? If you let me talk and let me get the questions out, you can freaking answer the goddamn question. I mean, let's go, right? Let's talk about your experience with WWN FIP. Talk about that promotion, man.
There's my experience, baby. So basically, like you said, I started training at WWN. So, a lot of people ask, how do you get booked with WWN? Your best bet is to start training there. You'll start at Proving Ground, and then you'll start from the inside up. We like to move people like from Jim Hennessy, our ring announcer. He went from showing up and helping with the ring to cameraman to getting chewed out as a cameraman to now he's our ring announcer for FIP, and he's doing a fucking fabulous job. So we like to old school. Like we build from the inside up. So my path with FIP was literally I came in. I had I think it was terrible. A banger of a first match, banger of a second, third, fourth, fifth match. I jumped off. I did one thing that no wrestler was allowed to do. Keith, bless his soul, let me do it. The owner of the company, the owner of the building, which made me stand out amongst everybody else, doing some crazy high spot off of the building, fucking the metal bars that go across the top. I don't know what it's called. The truss. That's what it's called. Truss. And then it was just then I took the ACW title, which is another title that a lot of big name people have had, ACW Heavyweight Championship. I took that. That was within, I think, 3 or 5 months. Started calling myself a veteran and going to town. Started getting out of the state after like 7 months. But then I always came back. And every time I came back, it was either a big deal match or a main event match. It was either, semi-main, main event, the first half of Proving Ground, now all it's ever been is like main event, main event, main event, main event, main event, main event. But I mean, I wear the company proud. I always represent the company. I mean, they gave me the last 2 champions. You know, they won the title, and nobody fucking knew there was even an FIP title. As soon as I won the title, or the last guy won the title and brought it home and showed his girlfriend. Cool. Me, I won the title. I took it to France. I took it to Newcastle. I took it down to Coventry. I took it all over the UK. Now I'm going back, and I'm going to keep that title because if anybody thinks they're taking that, they're dead wrong. That's coming with me. I'm going back to Scotland. I'm going to Wales. I'm going back to the UK. So I'm making this world title a world title, and that's, you know, the story of me. I'm really glad you asked that question because I like to put that together. The story of me at WWN, like I've literally started from the bottom, and now I'm standing on the top. Good question. That was a good question, Cat Daddy.
Thank you, sir. Even you say nobody's gonna take that away from you, but you got John Davis this Sunday.
But like I said, man, and I'll say it again. I cut a promo, but to me it wasn't a promo. It was a direct message. You know, John was on Twitter the other night, and he said, you know, this is a special show, and it is. John had a very special connection with Frank. I had my own special connection with Frank, and we are, you know, as a wrestler, he's probably the closest wrestler to Frank. As a son, as a student, as a what's a mentor's underneath? A mentee.
Mentee, yeah, there you go.
That makes sense. We'll use it. It makes sense. I'm the closest to him. So having this match is crazy. It's a match that Frank's always wanted to see. So like I said in promo, I know he'll be there, but John said, you know, I'm gonna put his top student through the ropes. The title is just going to be extra. And I told him, I said, you're going to have to reunite me with Frank if you think you're going to take that title with me, because if you haven't seen how I got the title against Brian Brock, I was bleeding gallons of blood. So if I'm willing to die to beat some stupid cowboy, I'm not going to, like, I already lost Frank. I'm not going to lose this title too. That would, it ain't going to happen.
I heard about that bloody fight that you had with Brock. Yeah, I heard about that. So
yeah, man, I went through like 2 rolls of paper towels to clean the title after I got home. And it wasn't just my blood too. That's the scary part.
Damn. So guys like Monster Cahagas, have you had any run-ins with that man?
Luckily, no. I like my sternum and I like my chest, so luckily, no. Because from what I've heard, he's one of the hardest hitting professional wrestlers. I think he bumped into my shoulder there last show, and I'm trying to work it out.
Yeah. So if I say the names Damian Wayne, Vordell Walker, Jackson Slade, you know any of those guys?
Damian Wayne, and he probably knows now, but at the time, like my first year and a half, 2 years of wrestling, like Damian Wayne was like and he didn't know, but he was like a coach to me because he posts a lot of things that help guys out, and a lot of guys are like, oh, this veteran needs to shut the hell up. Like, what have you ever done? Well, first off, he's done a lot. Second off, he does a lot for the guys who actually pay attention to like things he posts and stuff like that. Like, one of the things he posted about kicking out, like stop kicking out like it's part of the match. Like kick out like you don't want to fucking lose this match or you're gonna lose this match. Right. That's one thing. Like every time I kick out, Damian Wayne pops in my head. So that's somebody. Yeah, the other guys, I don't know.
Okay. Now you mentioned what?
No, I'm saying I don't know. As soon as you said Damian Wayne, I stopped listening. What was your names?
Man, you need to clear your ears out and listen to the questions.
You saw what I did right before we started. Shut up.
Vordell Walker.
I don't know him.
Okay. Jackson Slade.
I've heard of him. Is that the guy with the neck tattoos?
Yes.
Yeah, he looks like a tough little son of a bitch, or big son of a bitch.
He is a big son of a bitch. But
yeah,
this name I'm gonna say, and I have my opinions about this man. You can have your opinions. Johnny Knockout.
Well, it's a very long story, but we did a segment together actually on SmackDown when I first started, and they didn't want me to have neck tattoos or hand tattoos, so Johnny actually gave me a turtleneck to wear, and he gave me. Wait, did he give me the turtleneck or someone? He gave me gloves. He had those Johnny Knockout gloves or whatever, so he gave me gloves that I could wear and to cover my hand. And then whenever it came, I guess he's done segments before. I didn't know anybody when I first started. But he's done segments before. So whenever it came down to the segment and they were like, we need 4 guys to stand right up front. And he kind of like bumped me into position to like be right there on camera, knowing it would be me on camera, him on camera, then whoever else. So I think that was pretty cool. But then our relationship kind of fell off, and that's personal. I'm not going to get into that shit. But like, okay. no heat against the guy or anything. I got nothing personal against him, but you're familiar with this business. You know how it goes. You meet people, you lose connection with people, and then who knows? 20 years later, you're in a locker room and you're like, "Hey, what the fuck?" Yeah, but yeah, I'm way too laser focused right now to worry about friendships and shit like that. Well, I've never worried about that.
Bridgeport, Ayala.
WWN Proving Ground wise, fuck that kid. Outside the storyline, yeah, that fucking kid, you're gonna see him on TV one day, definitely. Top guy, no matter what he's doing.
Yeah. So now I saved this one for last because I think this is what we're really going to talk about near the end of the show. Francisco Chiazza, what has he done for you? I mean, you've already said a lot about him. Is there any memory? What's the popular memory that you have of him?
A promoter privately messaged me after I started. Like, I had a match going on with Garrett Bischoff that we didn't release. We were just starting shit online, and people were falling for it big time. So a promoter messaged me privately and was like, "Hey man, I really like your style. I look your look and all this shit, blah blah blah. But I'm telling you right now, like, if you don't dial it back, if you don't do this, you're not going to make it in this business. I'll personally make sure you're out of this business, but you have a chance right now. Delete that post, make an apology post, make things right." And at this time, dude, I'm 3 months in, and I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? I show Frank, and he looks at it, he reads it over, and I'm thinking my coach is about to rip my fucking head off now because I went a little bit too far. He goes, "Tell him to suck your dick." I was like, what? He goes, "Yeah, tell him to here." And he takes the phone. He goes, "Suck my fucking dick." Boom. He goes, you trust me, you don't want to work for that guy anyways. And fucking 5 or 6 months later, that same promoter hit me up and he's like, "Hey man, we need to talk. What's your rate?" I sent the message to Frank and he was like, "Ah!" Anybody that knows Frank will know. He put, "Ah, huge pop. Tell him to suck your dick."
Nice.
Yeah, man. Frank is old school. So he, people are like, "Well, how do you get away with certain things? And why do you do this?" I was like, because I just do. I do because I'm a grown fucking man. So Frank, I wouldn't say he taught me how to be a grown ass man, but he gave me the okay to be myself in this business. Because if my coach would have said, "August, you do need to dial it back. You need to stop being this way," unfortunately, I would have. So whenever I came to him and I was like, "Hey man, like, I'm getting a lot of heat. Is this too much heat? What's going on?" He approved of it, and I kept going. And it's never nothing he ever told me. He always said, "I'll never ask you to do anything I wouldn't do myself," and he didn't. He never did. But he made me such a confident fucking professional wrestler. Like, next question.
All right. So you talk about guys in the back, and paying attention to these guys and stuff like that, and legends and stuff. How important is it to you to do that? And do you see that lacking in with other guys in the business that don't pay attention to what they're told in the back to improve their skill?
Man, that was a fucking what?
Okay.
Boop, 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 boop. Okay. Guys let me see. Are you asking, do I notice that guys in the back aren't paying attention to the history of wrestling and they're trying to make it their own?
I'm asking you, the legends that are sitting in back and that give you advice. There's guys like you that would probably pay attention to that, and there's guys that don't. How valuable is that advice that those guys are passing on?
I don't know, dude. I'll be honest. I'm not going to say any names or anything, so I'm not going to be a dick about it. But I've asked 3 legends, 2.5 legends, for advice. One guy, separate story, said, "Don't fucking vote for Biden. You see what he's doing to this country." After I gave him the rundown and details of my match, asked for any help. That was the advice I got. The second was, "Are you buying me a shot of tequila or do I got to steal your wallet?" After I told him the details and the rundown of the match.
Okay. And
then the third guy said, "What's this promotion called again?" After I told him the details and the rundown of my match and asked for advice. So I feel like if somebody really cares about this business, they're gonna come and try to give advice. I feel like the guys that are just sitting there, counting their money before they lace their boots, that's really not advice that I want. And Frank told me, like, be respectful in this business, but like I said, I'm a grown ass man. I'll respect you for what you've done in this business, but a lot of the shit that I hear goes in one ear, fucking out the other, man. It's a different time. I'm a different person. So you say like, well, I wouldn't talk like, I wouldn't do this. I wouldn't say, I wouldn't walk. I wouldn't bump. You wouldn't, motherfucker, not me. Like, stop. That's the one thing. Like, you can give me things to compare to, but when you start saying like, you should do it like this because that's how I used to do it. Well, fuck you. Look where you're at right now. And I'm not talking about the legends. I'm talking about that specifically. I'm talking about like the 20-year veterans that have never left their state. Those guys, so many of them reached out to me. Hey man, the whole real and raw thing, it's cool, but I'd wait a couple years before you do that. Who the fuck are you? The judge of wrestling? You're granting me permission to be real and raw? Blow me. So that's kind of where my the real of the attitude came in, where when I started noticing guys trying to misdirect my ship and to blow my winds south or whatever, when I noticed that's when I started turning it up to 15.
Cool. So is the business of wrestling for everybody?
Absolutely fucking not. It is for everybody. If you want to be a fan, if you want to sell hot dogs, if you want to be a ring announcer, if you want to be a commentator, if you want to be a manager, like there's a lot of things that you can do. But everybody's like, well, I was a huge fan of wrestling my whole life. Well, you don't have to be. That doesn't make you have to be a wrestler. But there's so many money hungry trainers out there that there's so many. Like in Florida, I could throw a rock and hit 12 professional wrestlers. I could hit 15 professional wrestling companies. And it gets to the point where like, a veteran told me this, or like a legendary veteran told me this. These guys are the reason that we're not like, you ever seen the sheets back in the day? What people were getting, even the lowest guy was getting paid $300-400 for the night. Right. We're not getting that anymore because they know some dickbag is going to go out there for $20, break their neck, and not sue. You know what I'm saying? So like they got these guys out there, so they don't need. To them, that's entertainment. But that's why you notice all these fly-by-night companies that they're around for 2-3 shows, they run out of money, they're gone. But if they invested in good talent, they'd have people come in and I mean, the show I was just at in Washington, dude opens the curtain, he goes, "We got a problem." And I was like, "Oh, Jesus Christ, another independent wrestling problem." He goes, "We're out of chairs." I was like, well, that's a good fucking problem to have because obviously they're doing the right thing.
Absolutely, yeah. So I told you before the show started that my wife and I care for foster children. And of course,
that's awesome.
They have their own questions for you. So if you want,
what's your age limit? Where does it stop for you to bring in kids? Am I too old?
Yeah, you're too old. I'm sorry.
Whatever.
I know.
Continue.
All right. Favorite food?
These are kids asking me?
Yes.
Okay, I'll be nice then. Pizza.
All right. Does pineapple belong on pizza?
Absolutely not. What a good follow-up question.
Right. What's your favorite book? I have a book here that you could read. What is wrong with you?
That's you, man. My screen stayed that time and yours went out.
My screen stayed and yours went out.
Nah, you're lying. You're lying.
This is a good book.
Nah, man, I hate that book. I did get that. My buddy in the UK, I got him an autographed version of that book.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. Anyways, favorite. What'd you say? Book.
Book. Yeah, book.
What was that book in school they made us read about the kid that his plane crashed? Hatchet? Yeah, Hatchet.
Okay, there you go.
I like that book.
Favorite TV show?
That's a hard one because I like Friends. Let's just go with Friends.
Favorite movie?
That's a hard one too. Well, let's just go with The Lion King.
That's a good movie.
The original Lion King.
Yes, thank you. Favorite sports team?
The Cleveland Browns.
I hate you.
What? Oh, I mean, you should have asked favorite college team. Then I would say go Blue. I'd say go Blue, baby.
All right, favorite college team?
Yeah, the Michigan Wolverines.
Go Blue.
Go Blue.
All right. What's your Mount Rushmore of wrestlers?
Shawn Michaels, Stone Cold, The Rock, and Francisco Chiazzo, baby. Woo!
Woo! Two more from the kids. What do you do when you first wake up? Be okay. That's a good answer. What's
I
your
elevate myself. Here, answer for the kids. I elevate myself.
You elevate yourself. That's a good answer. What is
First thing,
what's your favorite potato chip?
I'm just gonna say a brand, Doritos, because they got a lot of good flavors.
Yes, sir. So let's talk about how important brotherhood is in professional wrestling.
Absolute dog shit. I don't care about. I'm not here to make friends, but real brotherhood is absolutely the most important thing in my life. I have a big brother who's a best friend of me, who got me into this business, who got my gears turning and gave me the confidence to get going. That kind of brotherhood means the world. But like, and obviously, like if you meet, because I have friends outside of wrestling, because like wrestling, you kind of have to. I mean, I'm doing pretty well right now with my career. I've been doing pretty well with my career. So some of these guys want to be friends with me because of me. Some of these guys want to be friends because they think they can get booked on shows. So it's kind of, you got to see through the bullshit in this business. So like I say, I'm not here to make friends, but if I do make a brother, which I've made, I'd say safe to say like three brothers in this business. It is very important, but nothing's more important than family.
Well, you have a friend. I reached out to a bunch of people that I would feel that know you. Andrew Anderson said this. He said, first of all, tell him hi. He's a great rookie, but a super talented guy. I love his work. That's from Andrew Anderson.
I wish I was older, because then back in the day I would have partied with fucking Andrew Anderson, because he looks like a fucking party animal. Tell him I said hello as well if he's listening. What up? That was both of us.
That must have been you again.
But I will say about what he said, the only thing he got wrong was rookie. Mr. Anderson, I'm a fucking veteran. But yeah, I am very talented. But not just in wrestling, and everything I do. Literally anything I do, I'm great at. If I wanted to start knitting, I'd probably be the best knitter in Florida.
Probably not.
Look at that, dude. Look at that.
You have there's no way you can touch me on the podcast channel. So I'm just saying.
I mean, my podcast is so good that I don't even worry about making episodes.
Yeah, irrelevant, right?
No, I'm saying I got a podcast, Real and Raw with August Atrois. I interviewed Austin Aries. I've interviewed Mojo Raleigh, or Dean Mojo. I've interviewed fucking a lot of people on my podcast. I just don't have the time to do it anymore.
No, I've been lucky to have the opportunity to do Alex Kane, Shane Taylor, Ken Anderson, Chiazzo, Cahagas, you. Now I add that to my list. So
yeah, I like some solid fucking names you named there.
Yeah. So
especially Alex Kane.
Yeah, great guy.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't go that far. I just want to fight him.
You think you can take him? Go to MLO.
I don't know if I can take him, but I want to see if I can.
Yeah,
he's one person that, like, when I started, he was just fucking breaking out. So when I, as my career's been going, I just keep seeing him elevate, and I want to put him to the test.
So talk about fans. How big's your fan base? How important are your fans and the merch table, etc.?
My fans, I could give a shit about. I have 5 of them that are true blue, real and raw. They've turned from friends to family, but I don't know. There's some pretty I've got 2 fans in the UK that have reached out and have said that they're getting WWAD tattoos, which means what would August do? So I'd say the people that are at the shows that I don't personally connect with, they can go to hell. I can give 2 shits. We already got your money. But the people that do stick around after the show, that want to have a conversation with me, that wants to get to know me and talks to me outside of wrestling, and I do give my personal time too, like on Instagram or Facebook, those fans do, I would say, mean the world to me. Yeah, I'm not gonna bullshit. Those people are pretty fucking cool. I could do without them. I could give a shit less. I mean, all I need is my family. But they're pretty fucking cool.
That makes me on the cool list then, right?
Do you like me?
I think you're a great guy, man. I think so far you have not done anything that I would disagree with, man. So.
Oh, well, whatever then. I guess you can be cool.
I know I was cool before you were cool.
Yeah, right. I wasn't that far, dude.
Um,
August Atrois temporary tattoos will be available at my merch booth.
Awesome. HugePop Wrestling Podcast cups. Just let me know in the description. I could get you one.
No, I'm good.
Okay, perfect. I don't like tattoos either, so hey, we can go on.
Wow.
Is there any good ribs or good car ride stories you can share with us? Yeah, those are good ribs,
Yeah.
right? I just had some.
No, guys won't. You do that these days, and you'll get canceled. Guys don't do that these days. I've heard stories about like Frank and his stories on the road and the shit that they would do. Like, I'll be honest, like if you did that shit to me, I'd punch you right in the throat. So I'm kind of fine with people not getting ribbed these days. Like we play jokes and stuff on each other, but nothing you need to know about, Mark.
Okay. I'm not a mark. I was once told I'm not a mark. I'm not even
I
a
thought
fan.
I thought your name was Mark. No.
Okay. All right. So you've been all over. You've been to 48 states, several countries, blah, blah, blah. What is your favorite venue, and what is your favorite state or country to visit when you're wrestling?
Shit. I guess this plays hand in hand. My favorite venue would have to be the Odeon in Cleveland, Ohio, because I performed there in front of a sellout crowd when I was in a metal band, signed. And then I performed there again with Control Your Narrative at the Cleveland show, which was fucking packed. I think it was sold out too, actually. Yeah, it was sold out. So I played 2 sold out shows, 1 professional wrestling, 1 as a metal band. So that's pretty dope. And then what was the second half of that question?
What city is your favorite to visit?
Like of all time, or to visit as a wrestler?
As a wrestler.
Oh, to visit as a wrestler? I mean, I have to say Florida because it's my home promotion and like that's where I got established. But if I'm leaving, then I guess I have to say Utah because I always get like a cool Airbnb and I party with my friends and we get off. Yeah, we have a wonderful time. And I get to go defend this bad boy.
There you go.
Yeah.
So we got WWE, AEW, New Japan, NXT, NWA. One of those names that I named, do you have your eyes set on? That's where I want to get to.
Oh, I have my eyes set on absolutely nothing. My eyes are set on the camera right here. No, I literally, if that happens, cool. If it doesn't, a guy who got released from WWE that's currently back working with the WWE once told me, signed doesn't mean happy, and independent doesn't mean broke. Like I'm traveling every weekend. I'm consistently booked. I'm booked all the way up till December 2024. I got my UK tour, my second UK tour coming up. I'm doing just fine. If I don't get signed, like my fear of getting signed would be I don't get to be August Atrois anymore. And I got book bags. I got book bags, bikinis, hats, beanies, sandals. I got cat clothes. I got TV sets. I got August Atrois fucking empire going. So in my mind, honestly, like Matt Cardona is showing everybody, he's literally showing everybody the blueprints. Like, build yourself a name until you're inevitable, until like one of these companies go, fuck, we have to bring him in as August Atrois, or we're gonna lose money. So like I'm in no rush. I mean, if it like I said, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, fucking cool, man. I'm traveling just as much as a signed talent would, or like those smaller brands and like the NWA and stuff like that. I'm traveling more than those guys are on my own and fucking paid well doing it. So I'm not complaining about it.
I mean, I want to say this, but okay, well, I had you mentioned that guy's name, and I'm not going to repeat the name, but I asked, I messaged him. He came on the messenger. I said, hey, I'd like to have you on the podcast, blah, blah, blah. And his comment back to me was, in order for me to be in your air, you need to pay me $500.
$500.
Holy damn, no way. You know.
I mean, this helps me just as much as it helps you. So what the hell?
Right. I don't know. That was Matt Cardona that said that, by the
way. He said, I'm not going to say any names.
Well, you know, I don't care. So
I mean, he's a bigger name than the other names that you mentioned on here. So I mean,
I get that. I get it. He's
got a point and he's got a right to do that, but at the same time, like for me, I'm coming up right now. Like he's doing a lot better than I am. So you know what I'm saying, this is helping me as much as it's probably helping you a little bit better because I'm a very good looking guy. Look at these features.
Well, I'm not into guys, so I wouldn't know.
I didn't say that. You could call a guy handsome. I think you're handsome.
You're handsome.
I wouldn't bone you though. Well, I don't know. What do you have to drink there?
Water.
Yeah, never mind.
What is this Project Pit?
I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. Oh, you're talking about fucking control your narratives bullshit? No. My thing is called Just Wrestling. It's available on fucking what's that? What's that? IWTV? My bad. It's available on IWTV. It's available on YouTube. We have Just Wrestling season 1, 2, 3, 4, and May 23rd we're shooting Just Wrestling 5, and that's for Frank. It's all about Frank. Everybody who was close to Frank, trained by Frank, close to Frank. Everybody involved in that is going to be. It's all about Frank. It's going to be fucking awesome. But yeah, basically when we were in Control Your Narrative, me and my brother thought like we love the idea of like the dark, gritty, just the boys surrounding the ring, everyone wrestling. Then they started doing like these weird, fucking stupid storylines and shit with like people walking down the road with shovels and shit, and you know people just got disinterested, and then things just backstage everything just fell. Then what's his name went back to the WWE and just things fucking completely fell apart. They had the idea. So once that happened, me and my brother were like, dude, I wish we could have just wrestled. And I was like, yeah, just wrestling. That's it. Just wrestling. So what we do is we go to the training studio. We surround the fucking ring with boys. We got 2 bright lights. Fucking the ref points at one guy, points at another guy. You guys get in the ring. You have a 10-minute time limit. If you don't get there in 10 minutes, match is over. Draw. If you win, you win. Cool. Get the hell out of the ring. Next 2 guys get in. Point to him. Get in the ring. Pretty fucking. It's like professional wrestling Fight Club.
Nice.
Except for you're allowed to talk about it.
So Enzo Amore, you received a low blow from him because you're trying to mimic his dance moves. Can you talk about that?
He didn't low blow me.
Are you sure?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's my nuts. I'm pretty sure. No, what happened was I came out and he was challenging anybody who wanted to come out. So I came out. I was talking shit. I made the mistake of turning my back on him to address those mouth-breathing losers in Georgia. And as soon as I turned around, he hit me with a lariat, took my head off, picked me up, hit me with his finisher. Boom, 1, 2, 3.
There you go. So I guess not a low blow, but he beat you. So
he hit me with a cheap shot, I'd say. Not a low blow, though.
All right. So someplace I read, how long do you want to be in this business? Do you want to get out? Are you anywhere near that?
I was going to get out, then Frank died, so now I have to stay.
Okay. All right. That's fair. So
no, I mean, it's whatever, dude. Like, I tell people all the time, like, people are like, oh, I love this business, and I'd do anything for it. Well, you must have never been with a girl like that before, because I've learned a lesson with women that never love anything more than it's going to love you. Don't let this business is never, ever, 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 ever going to love you the way you love it. So don't ever give it that love, because 10% of us are going to make it to that next level, maybe less. And you're going to, that leads to like so much doubt. Like a lot of guys that have wrestled for 10, 15 years and they stop, they gain a lot of weight. They let go of themselves. They grow a fat beard and they get just, completely disgusted with herself because of that reason. Like, oh, I never made it. You were never gonna fucking make it, but nobody stood up and fucking told you. There was no trainer that said, hey man, maybe just be a cameraman. I forget what the question was.
You answered the question. I compare you to an MJF.
Who's that? Oh,
okay.
Yeah. When I first started, everyone's like, "Oh, you remind me of MJF." I thought it was like a local Florida guy because I didn't watch wrestling at all. I had no idea who was on the indie scene. All I knew was the guys that were in Evolve that went to the WWE. The guys that were on WWN that went to WWE. I didn't know anything else. But yeah, he's pretty cool.
So from what I see in the videos and your promos that you cut on your page, etc., you're pretty phenomenal. You got it 3 years in the business. I can't wait. I hope to see the footage from Sunday's event when you put up the title on the FIP, and I can't wait to see this match. I'm gonna talk about this right now. Where's that?
You can check it out yourself live with your WWN description at wwnlive.com.
This one right here. In the Grand Prix, putting up the STF Championship match against Austin Aries. And I have to play this because this is interesting. This is what probably started this.
You know what, August Atrois? You remind me a lot of a young Austin Aries. A complete asshole.
So, do you agree with that?
Like I said, I'm not a dickhead. I am an asshole. So, yeah, I do agree with that completely. But this asshole, if you've seen Madman Fulton laying there on his knees, I just got done beating his ass. So this asshole's doing a pretty good job. But, I mean, if he's going to compare himself to me, I mean, what is he, a 5-time world champion? He's been signed to multiple companies. He's been around the world. He's still doing good. Like, I'm cool. I'm cool with that. Someone else said that match graphic looks like when you went to go pick the best character in the game, and then somebody fucking picked the same character, so it gives them a different version of it. I was like, cool. Is that nothing's bringing me down? You're comparing me. I'm stepping in the ring with one of the best, and lucky for Austin Aries, he's stepping in the ring with one of the best. So we'll see what happens.
All right. Let's talk about the topic on Sunday. John Davis, your opponent, said that Kiatsu helped mentor him. So you guys are brought up with the same kind of manager, kind of trainer, etc. So it's almost like honorable to Kiatsu that two of you guys are fighting for that title. Do you have any words for your opponent going into Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, I already said it in the promo. Why don't you bring that up since you're so good at this stuff? Do you have it? Oh, I thought you were about to pop to it. Anyways, John Davis is somebody that I've always wanted to wrestle. It's somebody who Frank always brought up when he was trying to like put over the fact of believability and hard hitting and fucking really getting into it and the grittiness of professional wrestling. He always talked about John Davis. So I always had this fucking fascination with John Davis, and I've had a tag team match with John Davis, and we got in there a little bit. And Frank always said, like, oh, man, when you guys get in there one-on-one, it's going to be a fucking hell of a match. So, the circumstances fucking suck. But I have a feeling this was Frank's doing from the afterlife. He put this match together however he did do it. And he's going to be sitting there, right above the ring watching. But it's going to be a very emotional match. He passed when I was over in the UK. And that really fucking sucked. I think that was his last rib to me, as you say, rib. That was his last rib on me. It was fucking leaving without saying goodbye. So that sucks. It's pretty emotional. And since he's been gone, I haven't had a show. After every show, WWN FIP, I bust through the curtain, bypass all the fake love, and I go straight to Frank, and he always gives me a big hug. One of them was actually recorded, which thank God I have that now. You see me break through the curtain, like I'm outside, I'm by the ring, I'm talking to the camera, fuck you, fuck this. I break through the curtain, I bypass everybody, and I go right over to my opponent, turn around, there's Frank, meet him with the big hug. So that's going to suck. Like anytime I had a big match that I was nervous about, I would give him a call, and he would calm my nerves down. He would tell me, especially if it was someone like John Davis, someone that he knew, he'd be like, this and this, be careful. Like when I wrestled Gangrel, Frank, he knew Gangrel pretty well. And he told me, watch out for this, do this and that. Everything's cool. He's always the first person I fucking called. So that's the only part bad about this show is, first, it's a tribute show, which fucking sucks. Second is that I'm not going to be able to call him, either get advice pre-show or tell him how it went after. So, yeah.
I would not be able to understand where you guys are at. I mean, that's got to be, you're going to be going on emotions, I'm sure, that day on Sunday.
Oh, absolutely. And plus, John Davis is going to, I told him he's going to have to reunite me with Frank, but my fear is he might, because he's a bad motherfucker, dude. This is the one opponent where, like, everybody else, I'll put you down in, 3 ways to Sunday, or whatever, any way I can, I'll fucking nip at you. John Davis, I have absolutely nothing but respect for. And it's not just because he's a bad motherfucker. It's just he's a good motherfucker, too, on top of that. So I know that I'm going to walk away from this match learning a thing or two. I'm going to be in a lot of pain. I'm going to have to take an ice bath the next day. But like I said, he's going to have to stop me from breathing if he wants that title, though. Just that's too much for me to lose all in 1 year.
Now, I know you're pretty confident you're not going to lose that belt. But would you say that John Davis would be a good replacement or a title holder to represent that title?
Well, he'd be a 3-time champion. Okay. So absolutely, yeah, dude. He's on a list. He's on the same list I am with all the greats, but he's done it more than I have. And it's not like he lost it, won it back, lost. He won it, had his title reign, then he won it again and had his title reign. So my fear is that he's looking for that trifecta, and he's going to be giving it just as much as I am, because, like, as a student of Frank, I don't want to lose, but as someone who mentored Frank, like, he doesn't want to lose either. So I know it's not going to be easily earned at all.
Right. So all the success you've had over the last 3 years, you're on this momentum rise, right?
Absolutely.
Can anything stop that momentum rise?
Yeah, me. Frank told me that since day one too. He's like, dude, if you just keep your fucking mouth shut keep your mouth shut at the right times, watch who you're talking to, don't make friends, and you're the only motherfucker that can stop your momentum is if I go online and start preaching about some bullshit that has nothing to do with wrestling or this and that, bringing up some negativity or something like that. Like, just stick to what you're doing because it's good. If you sidetrack from that, if you go get a girl you start sleeping around with girls in the locker room and stuff like that, and you have sex with this girl and she gets mad because you got booked in the UK and she says that you did this, like, the only person that can fuck this up for you, August, is you. And I hear that all the time whenever, like, after shows. Hey, August, you want to go grab a beer? No, I'm going home. Hopefully I have footage from the match. I can study my fucking film. I can go to bed and I can be at the gym first thing in the morning to be better than I was yesterday. I've done my partying and my sleeping around, and we're here.
That's awesome to hear from you, man. That's mad. What's the word I'm looking for?
Respect, man. Respect, yo.
And dedication to this business, this craft that you guys do. So
yeah, I don't give a fuck about this business. I give a fuck about me. That's the only reason that I continue to do this, because, like, I've let me down before, and it sucks when you can't point the finger at anybody but yourself. So I just don't have the capability of doing that anymore.
Gotcha. So I understand the untimely passing of Chiazza, the journeyman of WWN. So do you have plans of harnessing the business like he did and taking the WWN FIP to the new heights?
I like I said, I unfortunately have to. Like, for me, when wrestling was going to be done, it was going to be done, and I was going to be absolutely done with it and move on with my life. But I feel like once in-ring wrestling is done for me, like, I have to continue doing this. I have to go be a trainer and help the younger guys, because that's what Frank did. That was his whole life, was wrestling. So I feel like it'd be a spit in his face if I stopped in any shape or form. Thanks, Frank.
Yeah, thank you, Frank Chiazza. Thank you for, like I said, I had opportunity to meet the guy.
I was saying thanks as a smart ass. Like, I didn't want to do this forever. If he wouldn't have fucking died, I wouldn't have. But thanks, Frank.
Trying to go into the next segment to promote the WWN FIP tribute event.
Shut up.
On on February 18th, Sunday. Doors will open at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Bell time is 4 p.m. It's at the OCC Roadhouse. That's at 10575 49th Street, North Clear, Florida. Tickets are available at roadhousenation.com. First row, I believe, are sold out. Second and third row reserved are $20. General admission is 15. Kids 12 and under are general admission free for paid adult. Tickets are $5 more than the day of the event. See, okay, so can you talk a little bit about what this tribute show means to the wrestlers and to the fans in itself that followed after WWE in Piazza?
And like I said, it's going to be a very emotional day. There's going to be tears. There's going to be passion. There's going to be sweat. But my thing is, like, I absolutely hate the fucking fact that we're having this kind of show. You know what I'm saying? Like, not in, you get what I'm saying? Like,
I go, yeah, absolutely.
I hate that we're having this show. Like, we were supposed to continue the title story. I was supposed to be fighting Brian Brock. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm absolutely thrilled to be fucking fighting John Davis, but it's under the absolute worst circumstances. So, like, a lot of the boys, like, it's hard to cut a promo. Like, even my promo, you can see, you know, I'm working for GCW the day before. I cut a promo with me shitting in the toilet. When I was in Washington, I cut a promo with me in the bathtub. The other guy, I'm smoking a Black and Mild. I'm cracking jokes. But for this promo, like, it's just me holding the title, just trying to fucking explain myself. Like, there's really everyone, like, even my theme song, I made like a tribute song for Frank. My gear, I just got made specially from my boy Christian. Shout out. He's the one that makes all the women's gear in WWE. He made me a tribute gear for Frank. So, like, the gear is dope. The song's dope. The show's going to be dope, but it fucking sucks. I wish we didn't have any of this.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with that. I 100% see where you guys are as a wrestler, as a guy that mentored you or you know brought you through it. And I just have mad respect for you guys to do this. This is probably gonna be one of the hardest things you guys do.
Yeah, the match itself will be easy because adrenaline will take over, but like the entrance and the end of the match, like if I lose that fucking title, it's gonna be very hard. But even if I don't lose that fucking title, it's still gonna be very emotional. Once that bell rings, like we'll be numb during that whole match, and I know Frank's gonna fucking be there with me the whole time. He always is. He's been fucking with me big time since he's passed. He's been ribbing me. I don't step in dog shit. I've stepped in dog shit once when I was like 4. I stepped in dog shit the other day. As soon as I stepped in dog shit, I got up, then my shoe was untied. Like, he's knocking shit off shelves and fucking closing my doors and stuff. Like, his energy, he's a whirlwind of energy, but he's not with me all the time. He's probably with me right now because he's on the podcast and stuff. He's somewhere. He's probably in Vegas in some chick's titties right now or something.
Maybe.
You don't know.
I don't know. You're right. I don't know. I do know this. It was a pleasure to meet him, and he sent me a picture like a week before he passed of the autograph. An autograph that he signed. There's two autographs he signed. He was going to send to me, and I never got those. And I was like, but I have the picture, and so
you should have fucking let us know. He probably still has them. Well, he doesn't, but
I just did. So hopefully, man, my
not
boy.
me. Oh well, I'll message 2 dudes and see if they have it. But if not, it's gone forever.
Yeah. So I was scrolling through your Facebook, and I see that you have your own action figure, man.
Yeah. Hold on, I'll grab the fucking thingy real quick. Please wait while August Atrois returns.
Well, August Atrois is out doing what he's doing. You can get your HugePop Wrestling Podcast Tumblr directly from HugePop Wrestling Podcast. Hit in the notes. Hit the comment section below. Thank you.
You're welcome. Here's the cutout. It's going in.
Okay. Cool.
August Atrois. The figure will go right here where the shiny is.
That's cool. That's dope.
Where we at here? That's me.
That's dope, man. Now, where can people get these?
So what happened was he was gonna make like 4 or 5 of them, thinking that I guess I wasn't as over as I am, but then he got like over 100 orders, so then he's gonna make like the 4 or 5 for me to have to keep around the room and stuff like that, and to maybe do like a giveaway for. But then he's outsourcing them to a company to have them mass produced.
Well, you should give one of the best podcasts in the nation, HugePop Wrestling Podcast. Signed it and delivered it. That sounds like a great thing to me. Collect them all.
Yeah, but the last person that signed something for you and went to send it, I don't want to have that luck.
That's not. Oh, come on, man. Come on.
I don't want to have that luck, dude. You're fucking bad luck.
Not really. So then February 24th, STG Grand Prix, Utah.
STF. Where'd you get a G from?
I'm so STF. Sorry, man. STF.
There you go. Only survival of the fittest. It should be SOTF. Survival of the fittest.
You go up against my boy Austin Aries.
Bro, fuck Austin Aries.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
The vegan, right? The vegetarian.
I'm gonna shove a carrot up his dick hole.
Oh, yeah. So that ought to be a good match for him. So tell us, so I want you to close the show in your way, and tell us where we can find you on social media. Tell us where we can get your merch, and fire any shots that need to be fired to John Davis, Austin Aries.
I'm not firing any shots at John. Stop trying to start shit between me and John Davis.
Well, I mean, he's coming for your belt, man.
Well, it's not a belt, it's a title, but I know he is. But it's gonna be it's gonna be a brawl. It's gonna be a war. That's why he hasn't responded to my promo, because he fucking knows I'm gonna step in there and I'm gonna see red, and he's gonna see lights.
What do you got to say?
There you go. There you go. Was that enough? Was that enough of a call out for you? With Austin Aries, same thing, dude. I'm not gonna bullshit. I'm gonna learn a lot wrestling a guy like that, but I'm not losing this, and I'm not losing this. I mean, look how beautiful and shiny they are.
Yeah.
I plan on getting more on the 17th. I'm going for a title at Generation Championship Wrestling in Florida. The 18th, I'll be at the Francisco Chiazzo Tribute Show. February 24th, I'll be at STF Grand Prix in Salt Lake City, Utah. The next day, the 25th, I'll be in Colorado Springs. I'll be wrestling Bruce Waynes for the ORW Heavyweight Championship. I have a big match coming up in Utah. They said that a big named Attitude Era legend has a problem with me and wants to fight me. If Aries takes the title, he wants it to be a non-title match. If Aries doesn't take the title, he wants it to be for the title. What the fuck, dude? Like, these guys have lived their lives. Austin Aries been around the world, five-time world champion, been signed to all these companies. What do you want my title for? The fucking this WWE Attitude Era legend. Like, I'm sitting here watching the Attitude Era right now. I'm guessing old ass son of a bitch. Leave me alone. Let me live my life and have my career. Stop trying to live through me.
There you go. And you need to come to Panama or Fort Walton Beach, Florida, so you can get that title, which you'll never get.
Well, they've been trying to book me for a while. So if you're listening, XIW, let me know what's up. We've talked. I'll gladly come. I mean, there's a good roster, especially Controversial Inc.'s on there.
Yeah.
I fucking love them. They're great. Where else am I booked? We got Just Wrestling 5 for Frank. That's March 23rd. There's no fans, though, but that'll be available on YouTube shortly after. Okay. Pride of Wrestling coming up. That's a great Florida promotion. Pride of Wrestling, POW. What else do I have? I'm going to the UK again, May 1st through the 14th. I'm already booked the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th, the 5th at night, or the 5th of the day, the 5th of the night, the 6th. And so I'm booked in the UK. I'm booked in Scotland. And I guess I'll just go ahead and say it, but I'm booked with, Paige from AEW. Her family has a company. I'm booked with that company, the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th, the 5th at night, and it's gonna be three shows with the company. So that's kind of a big deal for me. Then I'm wrestling in Scotland, which will be my 3rd country I'll be wrestling in. I'm booked at another company that I was already booked at previously when I was over there, so I'm going back to tell that story. I'm trying to get booked in Wales, which would be my 4th country. Okay. But yeah, we'll figure it out and we'll go from there. But if you want to follow me, August Atrois, you can see on the little, where's my finger? Boom, 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 right there. August Atrois, a little blue box. That's ARTOIS. I'm not going to give my Twitter handle or my Instagram handle _ this. Just type in August Atrois and it's going to pop up. You'll see me, most likely covered in blood. And that's it. Follow, like, subscribe. YouTube, August Atrois. Got a whole page. Got promos, all that kind of dumb shit. If you're a weirdo and you like, ring-worn gear, I got a pair of August Atrois tights for sale. If you want those, hit me up. Hello, creeper. And that's it, man.
All right, man. Thank you for coming on the show, man. I'm going to play this.
I think that's it.
I'm going to close the show. Please do not log off. I want to talk to you after I go off air, man. So
you got to pay extra for that, dude. I don't. If you want me on your air, it's $400.
All right, yeah, that's cheaper than Matt Cardona did. So that's HugePop Wrestling Podcast. I've had August Atrois on the show. We talked about WWN, FIP, Francisco Chiazzo, the tribute. Let's check these guys out. They're great people. HugePop Wrestling fans, thank you for joining the show. I love you, and catch us tomorrow night for another HugePop Wrestling interview. Thank you so much.
All my dogs, make some noise up in this house.
Who is in the house? Who is in the house? It's the gangster of destruction, so you know what's going down. And when the drive-by's coming, then you better hit the grind. Cause when your body hits the canvas, then your head is knocked out. Who is in the house? Who is in the house? It's the gangster of destruction, so you know what's going down. And when the drive-by's coming, then you better hit the grind. Cause when your body hits the canvas, then your head is knocked out.
Fight with Adrian Whisper is like a fight with the devil, because when he's dealing with you, you cannot get on this level.
Fight with Adrian Whisper is like a fight with a king. It's like a fight with an army. They got the tanks and everything.
He's leaving bruises and stitches, possibly leaving you crippled, cause when he sets up the table and sends you straight through the middle.
Six sadistic free, beat that ass with a light bulb. Leave a piece of glass embedded in the back of your skull. Who is in the house? Who is in the house? It's the gangster of destruction, so you know what's going down. And when the drive-by's coming, then you better hit the ground. Cause when your body hits the canvas, then your ass is knocked out. Who is in the house? Who is in the house? It's the gangster of destruction, so you know what's going down. And when the drive-by's coming, then you better hit the ground. Cause when your body hits the canvas, then your ass is knocked out.